Welcome everyone to
Get
Gift of the
on
Dragon.
with it.
Sorry? That's nice. It's spring, and in spring children get born and new birth and new life, and you never know what will happen. So I welcome everyone to Gifts of the Dragon, a new moon workshop. As we know that even though the new moon may be a few hours away, the energy of it starts coming. It's the aura, it's the radiance which comes even before. And in the dragon, the year of the dragon, which comes from China, and which is always called in the Lunar New Year and the Spring Festival, it also goes on for many years. When I lived in Singapore, I fully experienced it, and that was very wonderful and beautiful. What we're going to do today is start with, we're going to have all the four elements of the world, of our being represented here, which are the soul, the mind, the body, and life. What we're going to do with the soul is do some breath work. With life, Kathrin is going to tell us and give us a lot of information and also help us to experience space. And then we are going to have an interview with Dr. Vinita Suri about the emotion which is associated at this time of spring and of also the new moon. And we'll end with just movement, just to show our own feeling about spring. That's going to be unscripted. So let's just relax a little bit, sit back wherever you are. It's always nice to have the spine upright. So if you're comfortable.
Oh, welcome my sister, Constanza. She's my sister. Wow.
Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
So in the chat, if you could let Constanza know what we're doing. And so what we're going to do now is just do a little bit of a breath, which is related to the dragon. The energy of the dragon that we are invoking here is the energy of the wisdom and of the golden light, of soul and power, of the power of soul. Feel your essence in the center of your head. And just feel the golden light emanating from here. Allow the light from the universe to fill your head, to go into every neuron with gold, pure golden light of the Creator Source. Keep your consciousness here as you look down into your energy body. And then send a ray of sunlight, ray of pure golden light into the Mooladhara, your root chakra. And feel it beginning to spin with golden light, bringing in the light of the source, of Creator. And then your consciousness comes back into the center of your head. From here, you now look into your sacral chakra. And send the golden light there. Feel it, sense it. See the new beginning that's beginning in this chakra. There may be a new message coming here. You may see colors which you have not seen before. You may have feelings maybe some release. Just allow anything that's coming to show you and give you its message. And now your consciousness is back in your head. And just take a few deep breaths to center yourself. And let a golden light go now into the solar plexus, the solar chakra, Manipur, the city of gems. And see the gems all lit up. Feel your central power. Feel the power of the dragon. Bringing beneficial energies. Bringing strength into all our endeavors. And now your consciousness is back in your heart and your head. And your heart begins to expand, sending out these golden rays. Feel where they are going, who they are touching. Connect with the ancient wisdom of your baby self. For the heart was with us even before we took birth, the first organ to begin to beat. The heart is the witness of our unfolding. And now bring that into the throat chakra, this beautiful golden light, clearing and letting this Vishuddh energy, the energy of purity, bringing the energy back now into the middle of your forehead, the third eye, the Ajna chakra. And your intuition begins to flower. Something new is coming. And now, from your head, the 1,000-petal lotus begins to bloom. But this is how the dragon energy is in our body. This is how the Kundalini rises and looks like a dragon. And what's coming out is just pure golden light, connecting us to the source of oneness, of creation, and all that is. This internal breath that we take from the center of our spine connects us to the dragon breath. This is the ancient breath that we took, that the yogis take, which does not involve the physical body. This is the breath that makes us immortal, eternal, infinite. This is the gift of the dragon. Just feel that energy going up your spine, coming out. Receive its gifts, absorb them, and feel them radiating out to all. Just stay in this for a little while. with the sounds of your own inner self, the sounds of silence. And when you're ready, very gently open your eyes. Let the golden light shine forth from your eyes. If anyone is ready, please share a word or a phrase or a message that you received. You can unmute yourself, say your name, say I am with your name, and then a message that you received.
Hi, Vinita. I received beautiful golden light flowing up through my spine and radiating out, and then my green connection of harmony. Thank you. Wonderful.
I am Patricia, and I receive a message of inspiration. I'm very inspired. I don't know why. Just a lot of inspiration came to my mind.
Anyone else? It's okay if nothing else. That's okay also. Baroness?
Yeah, my name is Bernice. I felt kind of, I can heal, finally. It will take still some time, but I'm in the process of healing. Thank you.
White Feather, did you want to share? But we can see half of you. Your camera is obscuring part of you. You'd need to unmute your mic. White Feather, your mic is muted.
Is it still?
We can hear now.
Okay. I can't see you. I can't see you on my screen, but I had this beautiful, it was like a purplish pink color. And it just filled my heart and filled my whole body with this energy of like feeling like the new energy, coming from spirit, a new energy is coming. And this was the color that they showed me of the energy for me that's coming soon, they said. And it, I don't know exactly what all it means, but there are things coming for each of us that show us what our journey is going to be as we continue on. That's what it felt like to me. Felt very special, warm, and inviting.
Thank you, White Feather.
I'm Kathrin, and I felt beautiful energy of love. I still feel this very deep deep energy of love and of joy. It's like this young dragon wants to come out of the earth and fly. It's such a beautiful feeling that surrounds me right now.
That's beautiful. Victoria, did you want to share anything?
Hi, I'm Victoria. I always have some problems to get deeper in the meditation. So I'm not practicing regularly. And but now after the short meditation, I feel a little bit more calm and present. That's what I can say. So I'm always jealous what I hear around here, that you can feel so much and go deep inside. I think it's a way of process for me right now.
Anyone else before we continue? So then I'll move on. We'll move on then to Kathrin. Kathrin is going to speak to us about the tools to adapt without losing one's sense of self. She is a Feng Shui master and someone who is very skilled in co-creating spaces, inner spaces and outer spaces, which whenever I look at them, bring not only calmness, but also so much of a feeling that now this is a space where we can create. So over to you, Kathrin.
Thank you so much, everybody. I'm so happy to talk about Feng Shui because this is my passion. This is where I grow. This is where I can express myself deeply, and Feng Shui is not only a part of my life, it's really became my life. And this year, the year of the wood dragon, actually is the energy I was born in. I was born as a wood dragon, and after this, I become 60 this year. So don't make I can talk open about my age, and I think this cycle occurs every 60 years. So the last time we had the year of the wood dragon was 60 years ago. So it's for me, it's a very coming home year. And I really feel I turn into a dragon this year. And I really feel the energy of this wood dragon so deeply, so intense. And I want to share with you the energy of the wood dragon. But before, I want to honor the mystical man who who was like an inventor of Feng Shui, who was, the one who brought this wisdom into the world. So this is a very deep wisdom, and we go a little bit deep today also because it's much more than kind of entertainment that we talk about, because it's something that you really get deeply involved in, because if you get involved, you become part of that beauty. You become part of that cosmos that we are talking about, and going deep into this intense being involved is much more than entertainment. So let's first of all worship Fu Xi, who is the one who brought this wisdom into the world. And let me share my screen with you. This is Fu Xi. This is his memorial, like it is in China. And Fu Xi was sitting at the Yellow River more than 6,000 years ago, or even 60,000 years ago. You know, time is only a concept. It was long, long ago. It was in a time when there was no characters there. Nobody was able to write something because the characters were not invented in that time. And he was sitting there in deep contemplation at the Yellow River, and all of a sudden he saw a horse coming out of the water, and he had some dots on his back. And Fu Xi saw this horse with these dots on his back, and he thought, oh, this is, I get goosebumps every time I talk about that. This is a magical sign from heaven. This is a message from heaven coming to me, and this is a science coming from heaven, and I have the honor and the task to bring this science into life. And he felt this call, and the other idea he had in mind was, I have to tame the wild in the behavior of humans. So this is another really deep thought about Feng Shui and about all the Taoistic wisdoms and knowledges we have nowadays. So this what you see here is his explanation of this concept of the world, like the world is now, today. Like the world is an explanation of the world. This is the later heaven Bagua as we work in Feng Shui with it. And let's go a little bit into it because it's really beautiful. Everything in the world can be expressed by this. Everything that we have, everything that we go through, everything that will come, and everything that was. It's a wonderful DNA of life. Unfortunately, this is in German, but this is the left one here, is the early heaven Bagua. So this early heaven Bagua, I want to just give you one idea about how what we can see. We can see thousands and millions of things in it, but just give me one small idea, because this is all energies. These are all energies. So you see, this is a perfect balance of energies. So everywhere you have here a broken line, you have a straight line on the other side. So you see everything is in balance. So this is the concept of the early heaven, which is the concept of the world as it should be. It's an ideal concept of the world. And you see the energy is neutral. You know, energy is neither good or bad. And this is also something that we see here embedded in that beautiful picture, that energy is neither good or bad. It's neutral, it's innocence in its core. And you see here, it's necessary, embedded to give harmony to the world. So everything is in balance, and there are also these 5 elements that are related to these trigrams that we see later. But life is not a theoretical concept. So life is something else. Life is movement. So here we have stability, we have balance. Balance is standing still, but life is not standing still in no moment. So we have the later heaven. This is the concept of how the world is now. And this is what Fu Xi has written down when he saw this horse coming out of the water. And what for me very important is, how does it come from the early heaven, from the ideal world, which is not reality, to the later heaven? How does the interplay of forces get into moving? That was the first thing I wanted to know. And for me, it was the most interesting question when I started to explore all this. And the answer is as simple as logical. It was an anomaly in the orbit. This has set everything in motion. This has set this ideal concept of stillness, standing still, into the concept of movement. So the interaction of the elements of yin and yang. And as we are today we get to this later, in the new moon ceremony, which is also very beautiful, Meenakshi, that you have this setting embedded into the new moon ceremony, which we have tomorrow. You see how from the stillness, from the stage of no movement, everything comes into action. And this is the stillness and the Tao, the origin of all things. And then a spot of pure yang is coming out in the middle of the dark. And Lao Tzu says for this, if all things have no emptiness, how can they come into being? So this is so beautiful. And the next step out of the dark, the small spot in the middle, you get into the interaction of yin and yang. And this is how the world, how we deal with this energy in our lives. So here we are now, and this is the two lines, the two Yao lines that are represented by the yin and the yang, which can describe everything in the world. So we have the yin line, which has many facets, and the yang line too. And the interaction between these two is determining our lives. Also the year of the wood dragon. Here you see the DNA of spirit planning. So you see that from the yin and yang in interaction, the 8 trigrams come into life. This is the 8 trigrams, and each trigram is related to an element. This trigram with the number 2 is related to the earth element, and so on. And so you have the 5 elements. We have in Feng Shui, we have 5 elements, which is earth, water, wood, fire, and metal. These are the 5 elements. Everything in the world, every mountain, every water, every landscape, every human, every dragon, every energy can be described by this interaction of these 5 elements. And you see here that every element and every trigram is related to a direction. And this is so wonderful, because this gives the explanation why Feng Shui is an art and wisdom that we work with in rooms, because every room has a direction, and every house is situated in a special direction and is affecting by a special direction. So the whole world is explained by the interaction of magnetism and gravitation. So this is the beauty of Feng Shui. And now we welcome the wood dragon, but not only the wood dragon in this year, but we welcome also a new cycle. This is so interesting because we have everything is cycling in this world. And we have a 20-year cycle started at the 4th of February, 2024 until 2044. And this is the last age of a 180-year cycle. And this started in 1864, and it will be completed in 20 years. And now we are in the last age of this 180-year cycle. And this is very, very meaningful because the energy change, because energy are dealing like humans. They grow, they become powerful, then they become weak, and then they die. So everything is like this. Everything is cyclic, also energies. And as now we turn into a new cycle, so we have to deal with the energies in our surrounding that affects us in a very wise way to get into the good energies for the future. And this age we turn into is a Li Gua age. It's a fire age. So that the wood dragon welcomes the fire age. And again, for this anomaly in the orbit, we are in a leap year right now. Every 4 years, every cycle starts with a leap year. So this is one aspect of this anomaly that we have in life. So as I said, no energy is good or bad. It's only all about how we deal with it. And these are the 3 possibilities of interaction of the 5 elements. So we have the nourishing cycle, the weakening, and the controlling cycle. So these are the kind of interaction, how we can deal with these elements. And as we are in the year of the wood dragon, so we have the wood here. And as we are metal element, I think there's Meenakshi metal element and me. So we both are metal element. Okay, so let's see how these metal element humans are related to the year of the wood dragon. As metal conquers wood, metal has power over wood. You can explain it like in many ways, but let me give you one little example. Like an axe or a saw or any other metal tool can shape a tree into a share. So I conquer the wood, which makes me stronger, and then I can attack the wood, I can change the wood into something new, so I can use my creative power very well in this year. So the year gives me power to create. So it's a very good year for a metal element human. Let's go through all the 5 elements and the relation we have with the year of the wood dragon. Then we have the water element. The people with the water who are related to the water element are in a weakening cycle. So the water is needed for the wood to grow. So the wood takes the water, so the wood weakens the water. So this is something we have to deal with as water element related people. But we can deal very clever with these elements because we not only have these 2. So what would be the message for a water related human in that year of the wood is, so you can bring metal into the game. So this would be my suggestion for water people in this year. Bring metal into the game. So metal nourishes water. So you have something that makes you stronger. And also, as we saw before, the metal has power over wood. So the metal will weaken the wood again. So you are in your water energy, you can have a very powerful year if you work like a martial art with these elements in this year. So what you need as a water element, a human, would be kind of protection, because metal is protection. So ask for protection, ask for this energy to come into your life. And with this knowledge, you can dance with the wonderful wood dragon through the year. If you're a fire element, I think we have some fire people here. Victoria, Patricia, I think you are fire. And the fire element is weakening the wood. So as the fire needs the wood to burn. So fire is, so the wood is very good for the fire to burn. So it's a very good year for the fire element to grow and to burn into their hearts, to burn into their power, to burn into their true selves. So use the power of the wood dragon this year as a fire element to shine into your true self. So you have the support of the year of the wood dragon. And the earth element, we have people with earth here too, I think. The earth element is the other way around than the metal. So wood has power over earth. So wood changes the earth element. So we have also here a very challenging aspect for the earth element humans, because they might be attacked by the wood dragon this year. But there is also, again, like something that you can integrate in your life, and that makes you much more stronger than you are before, because you can add fire into your life. So if you add fire into your life, you break that direct line between wood and earth, and so you continue that nourishing circle. So wood will then go to the fire that you add into your life and weakens the fire and strengthens the earth, because the fire is like also the picture of imagine the blossom that falls onto earth and enriches the earth, or a fire of, if a wood burns, then it goes to earth and nourishes the soil of the earth. So integrate fire into your life, which is also love. Fire is the heart. Fire is the beauty of love shining. So shine through this year, and then love will be the force for you to be enabled to dance with the wood dragon in a very powerful way. And if you are wood yourself, so you don't have any problems, because wood and wood are very good friends. I don't know how much time I have. I want to say something about the wood dragon itself. 2 or 3 words. The wood dragon is a very young and curious one. And wild and impetuous, he pushes into the world. He loves being in the woods in times of rain and windy days, and he asks us to do the same. To love the windy and rainy days, who have the power of renewal when the sky waters its flowers. The wood dragon talks to the trees and listens to every word they tell, every song they play. It is an endless, wonderful conversation, and be sure it is very powerful. And the dragon is the yang power, yang magic, the only mystical animal in the Chinese zodiac. It needs to be balanced by yin energy. So, love, joy, let your heart speak, listen to it, listen to nature, go out into nature. The nature of wood is spring. It is the end of the frost, the melting water, the fresh green. Let's go out dancing in the rain. This is what came to in the morning when I meditated about the wood dragon. And I like to give you one more gift. This something that is good for all of you. As you know, in Feng Shui, everything is related to direction and to the house. So the energy that flows into our houses this year maybe can be too strong for some of us. So it will be very important to keep the house balanced and in harmony. Not every household should make big changes this year. Keep it calm. But if you feel an essential need to change wisely. And because we have this period change. And if you feel there are areas of your life that are changing, then it is time to change your personal surrounding too. The newborn energy of the period 9, the fire era, is strong, and it will get stronger by the time. What every one of us can do is the following. We can install a salt cure, so-called salt cure, in the west sector of our house. So for example, this is a house, and here's the west sector. You can measure it with your compass. Install a salt cure there, because here there will be something disturbing in every household all over the planet. And this is a not vital earth energy this year in the west sector of our houses. And with the salt cure, which has a very strong metal energy, we can keep the earth energy busy so that it leaves us alone and doesn't spread its bad influence on us. So this is the salt cure I did this year in my west sector. And I just explain you how it works. You put a bowl and you put it 2/3, fill it with salt, normal salt. Then you put 6 coins in a circle, like you see here on the picture. And in the middle, you put one other coin, maybe a coin with a empty middle would be great, but you can use every coin you find. And then you put it on a little plate, put it in the western area of your house, and then you fill it up with water. And that's it. That's the whole story. You can also, if you want to do some more, you can also hang a 6-rod metal wind chime in that sector. This will do the same. This will, if you make it move, it will have the energy like a baby that cries, and the mother, which is this energy, this earth energy, will run to and look after her baby and leaves you alone. So this is the explanation of the masters for this energy. And try it out. This salt cure will react over the year, the days and the month. It will bring a reaction, and this reaction with water and metal and salt will work with this water energy, with this earth energy. Yes, so this is what I wanted to share with you. And so we bring the energy of nature into the energy of the rooms in that way, and we can start our healing processes or continue our personal healing processes by the support of our surrounding energies. Thank you very much.
Wow, that was wonderful, Kathrin. So much we've learned and so much to absorb. And also now you've given us that gift of the metal. I didn't think of metal and salt, but yes, of course, it's also, and it can be any salt. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if I see something in the chat. Is somebody, yeah, wear metal. Somebody's asking, what if you wear metal? Oh, okay. That's if somebody has the water energy, then if they wear metal, that's how they bring in the metal energy to
Yes.
take the
Okay.
power.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can wear metal. You can put some round metal plates somewhere, even in the West, maybe should be good this year. Some bracelets, amulets, wear a metal coin, something that you feel like protects you in a way, because metal is a protection element also. Mm-hmm.
So we'll go on to the next. Now, this is where I did something else like a spring chicken, because I forgot the timings that I had promised our next speaker, who's in Melbourne, Australia. And it's very difficult to balance the two timings, so that everyone's sort of awake. And I realized that it's a little bit too early for there. So last night night for me, morning for her, we recorded her session. And of course, later, if you all have any problems, any questions, we can ask her. I don't know if you can hear my roof sound very loudly. Okay, Zoom is good at that. They're banging right on top of my head. So I'm going to play the video. Please let me know if you can hear it properly or not. Let's see if it works properly. Now I'm delighted to introduce to us Dr. Vinita Suri. Vinita is a wonderful stress counselor, someone who has worked with people for many years. In fact, she has over 25 years of experience, and she helps people to develop the skills to cope and the strategies that they need to stay centered and to function effectively when they're feeling stress, change, and pressure. I think this is something all of us feel at various times, even the sense of overwhelm. And I'm really looking forward to listening from you. I want to pause it for a little while, and just because I wanted to see what we sense. Some of us may already know what is supposed to be the emotion that is associated with spring and with this energy. But if you don't know, what do you think is the emotion that is supposed to be the most prevalent at this time? At the time of childhood, at the time of spring, related to wood and the energy of wood, which in 6 key, which we call the energy of wind. What do you think is the emotion? Because we're going to speak, she's going to talk about that emotion. So I'll say the emotions and you say if that's what it is. Okay, do you think it's joy, anxiety, sadness, passion, fear, anger, love, happiness? What do you think is the dominant emotion?
Joy and happiness.
Okay.
I would say joy.
I think I'll play it. Let's play it and see. We may be surprised.
Probably excitement.
And from learning from you, how we can touch upon anger in this period of spring and the year of the dragon.
Thanks, Meenakshi. I'm really glad to be here and have a discussion with you, especially because it is the year of the wood dragon. And, as we know, the dragon energy is all about power, expansion, growth. And, if we have anything that's heavy, that's weighing us down, it could be anger, it could be fear, it could be any of these heavy toxic energies, then we can't really flow easily. And it is about the time of the period when we can, manifest our creative energies. So yeah, it's a lovely discussion to have, and I.
Oh, what happened? Oh, wow. Suddenly it stopped, right? I'll try
Yes.
one more time. Let me try one more time. I don't know why it stopped. Maybe because I was playing it from Zoom, and maybe Zoom doesn't like two things to happen at the same time. But while I'm looking for it, because I also downloaded it, can anyone guess why it may be, why do you think it's anger? Can you sort of guess?
And
Because wind likes to flow, and and if it touches anything, or if the flow is stopped, then it storms, and anger comes out of frustration. And a child always, most of the time, whatever children want to do, you're stopping them from doing it. They're not able to do everything they want to do. And so we always find that there's a little bit of that frustration which leads to anger. But let's see if it'll play.
as we know, the dragon energy is all about power, expansion, growth. And, if we have anything that's heavy, that's weighing us down, it could be anger, it could be fear, it could be any of these heavy toxic energies, then we can't really flow easily. And it is about the time of the period when we can, manifest our creative energies. So yeah, it's a lovely discussion to have, and I look forward to having an interesting conversation with you on this.
So I'm really wondering, Vinita, I'm thinking about something that you said about the creativity. Is there anything creative in anger?
Well, I believe that every emotion, whether it's anger, fear, sadness, it's telling us something about ourselves. It's more like a signal that we have to pay attention to something. So, to that extent, no emotion, including anger, is really all that bad. Of course, what we need to learn is how we can manage it, and maybe even more important, learn how to release it from our system so that it doesn't consume us completely and it doesn't stay within us for an indefinite period of time. So if we experience anger, if we try and listen to why it is there and then we learn how to let it go, it can be a creative force.
Yeah. In fact, I remember that when we were talking about this a while back, and you were guiding me about anger. And I think one of the things that I wanted you to touch upon is how to release anger. What are the healthy ways, let's say?
Yeah. So, when I think about anger, it's really, I would say, of all the emotions, maybe the most toxic emotion that we carry inside us. Because if we express it in a manner which is not constructive, in an explosive way, it absolutely destroys relationships. And on the other hand, if we keep it buried inside of us and we know there is no outlet and it's repressed, especially for long periods of time, it can completely destroy us from the inside. And as energy healers, we all know that if anger is repressed and kept inside for long periods of time, it affects the liver, it affects the gallbladder, it leads to arthritis and stiffness, and we literally become stiff like wood. We are inflexible, we are unable to flow, function effectively. All aspects of our life, whether it's our careers or our relationships, everything gets impacted. So, yeah, we really need to learn how to get it out of our system. But we need to do it in a way which is more long lasting. So, for example, there is a difference between learning to manage anger, which is also very, very important. There are a lot of anger management courses where we learn techniques about how not to be emotionally reactive, how to be calm. For example, when we are getting upset, we could learn to focus on our breath, which is a very calming thing. Or we could maybe distance ourselves from the situation if it's possible, maybe go for a walk or go to a different room. We could do something creative which distracts us. So distance, distraction, pause. These are all ways in which we can learn how not to be emotionally reactive in the moment. But I think what's also very important is for us to learn how to actually not just manage anger, but release it from our system and truly let it go, because it's only then that we will learn not to get angry and, maybe be in a space where we are more light and in a state of flow.
So what are the proper ways you would say, which is the good way of releasing anger?
So, I feel that underlying anger, and I've done a fair bit of work on this with clients, there is always some pain point. The more angry the person, the more pain that has been either unaddressed or unresolved, and that is bottled up inside. So when you meet someone who you would feel is an angry person, or even for ourselves for that matter, let's begin with ourselves. Why talk about somebody else? Whenever we get angry, I think it's very helpful to really, after we have calmed down, not at that moment, but after we are in a calmer place, to really reflect and understand what that pain point is. There is probably some need that is frustrated, that has not been addressed, that is causing us to feel anger and pain. So going deep inside and asking ourselves, what is it that I want from this person? What need of mine is not getting fulfilled? And then I think even more importantly, because there are two people in a relationship, to do the same thing for the other person, to understand what is the other person looking for, what is his or her need that is not getting fulfilled, what is the frustration and compulsion that he or she is facing. So if we go below the behavior of anger and really go into the deepest desires or the needs of each person and take a kind of an aerial view, and from that space try and understand, is there some kind of a compromise that can be worked out? Can both people's needs be addressed either partially or completely in some way? The anger then tends to reduce in terms of intensity.
Do you feel that this is something that two people can do on their own? Let's say one person's living with someone who frequently has bouts of anger, and you're saying that it's because of an underlying pain. Do you think it's possible for two people to just do it on their own? Because I think that's where they would need some sort of professional advice, and that's where you would come in.
In fact, I would say it's even more important to do it on your own. You have to first sit by yourself and reflect on your needs. We don't necessarily have to communicate it to the other. That happens much later. First, we just need clarity to understand what is it that I'm looking for and what I'm not getting from this relationship, or it could be a job, it could be any aspect, it could be a parent with a child. And after we have that clarity, even the reflection of what the other person's needs and compulsions and frustrations are best done first in isolation or by yourself. Then comes the stage of how do we communicate this to the other person. That's a different skill set altogether, because how we communicate our needs is in fact even more important than, I would say the most important thing, because if we communicate our needs in a manner where we are in a blaming mode, again, the conversation will fall apart. So we have to take responsibility for what we are feeling. In fact, that's a very detailed conversation, and maybe we could have that on another in another session, because it's, you could go about it in a structured way, where there are ways in which you express your feelings. There's a way in which you express your deepest desire. For example, you can't demand a change in behavior. It has to be more of a request. So it's a skill set. And but before that, like I said, if we take the time and just do a bit of inner work to understand what needs of ours are being frustrated and what needs of the other person are being frustrated, this is enough just to reduce the intensity of our anger.
I think I would love if you could show us a little bit more about the different ways of expressing anger, which are healthy and maybe those which are not so healthy.
Okay, so I will just share briefly one slide, and we could take the discussion further. So is that visible on screen?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So, in our relationships, we could either be aggressive or we could be submissive. And most of us tend to fall into either of these two categories. Now, a person who is aggressive tends to be in an angry state. That's the predominant emotion. A person who is submissive in their relationships tends to be predominantly in a state of fear. If you look at the mindset of, the two states, usually an aggressive personality will come from a place of superiority and a feeling that they know best, and, they have all the answers and solutions. A person who's in a submissive state may be in the exact opposite state, which is a lack of confidence and a feeling that, I don't have the answers and I don't know what to do in such a situation. The typical behavior of a person who's in an aggressive state is insisting that things always happen their way. Whereas the behavior of a person who is more submissive, they usually have difficulty saying no, so they often go along with things that they actually don't want to do. Or if they are, they find themselves in a corner, they will try and run away or avoid the situation completely. So both these extremes are actually not helpful and can't be sustained for long. Even a person who is in a submissive state, after some time, will rebel, and it's like the rubber band being stretched too much. And, at some point it will break, and that person will either go into an aggressive state or into what we call a state of learned helplessness. But both being overly aggressive and being overly submissive is not helpful and does not sustain in relationships. But there is a midway, which is really about being assertive, which is the healthy space and where we can all aspire to be. And a person who's assertive is basically rooted not in anger or in fear, but in a state of kindness and compassion. And there is respect, there is a feeling of equality, there is no inferiority or superiority in that relationship. So you learn to listen to the other person and you are able to express your needs. And the goal is really to try and arrive at some kind of a solution that works for all. So, just as the learning need of a person who's a bit aggressive is to learn to listen more to others, and a person who's submissive needs to learn to express themselves more. A person who's assertive is able to balance both of these. They give equal importance to their needs and to the needs of the other person. So they are able to both listen with compassion and also express their needs in a kind manner.
That's such a beautiful way that you have expressed these. This is such a huge topic, Vinita, and you have really expressed it so succinctly, so clearly. And one of the thoughts that I went back to is when you said that a person who's had, like, let's say, held anger for a long time and not probably been able to express it properly. In our society, that is what our society is all about, right? We're always told, don't be angry or don't be sad or any other emotion which is considered negative. But we are not really taught what to do. In fact, while I'm saying it, I remember someone from my childhood who used to be angry all the time, and we would keep telling her, don't be angry. And so one day she said, then what should I do when I feel angry?
Yeah.
And I realized, my gosh, we didn't know what to say. We were all children, so what do children don't know? Even grown-ups don't know. I think this is such an important discussion. And I really would love to, continue this because especially when we see that it affects the body. And so once it reaches the body, is there a way of somehow healing it? What is in your experience?
See, I'll make 2 points. I just wanted to add something to what you were saying, which is that, when we tell people don't be angry or don't be sad or don't be scared, we're really doing a big disservice because these are natural human emotions. It's impossible not to get angry. It's impossible not to feel scared or be sad. Like you said, we just need to learn how to honor these emotions and work through them in ways that are constructive. So coming to your second question, what do we do when it reaches the body? So our body, as you know, is such a forgiving space. It takes years and years of abuse before some symptoms manifest themselves externally. So usually I would not say that, a little bit of anger here and there is going to damage us a lot. It's usually if anger has been suppressed and repressed for long periods of time, maybe from childhood, it will take its toll on the human system. But our body, like I said, is very forgiving. And of course, if we kind of reverse our ways of looking at the world, if we use various healing techniques, definitely we can bring back a state of happiness in our organs.
Vinita, since this is the dragon year, and I think you have a deep experience of dragon, do you think that dragons are better suited to handling and expressing anger?
Well, I know that dragons are the most resilient creatures, even if they're mythical, but they stand for resilience, and they can survive in different environments, be it very cold, be it very, hot, or whatever the environment may be. So I think maybe they learn how to use anger to their advantage, because the anger energy is an energy of force. It's not that bad, to get angry, get upset. It shows that you're passionate about some things.
Yeah, and probably, especially when you're feeling angry about some injustice or a sense of injustice that you see. Yeah, that's true.
So we just need to learn how to express, and like I said, we can have that as a separate conversation, because there are techniques on how to express, when we are talking, and what are the things we should or should not do.
That's definitely a discussion we're going to have. I can see we're going to need you to have many discussions with the co-creator circle. So I can see it was a surprise about the emotion, right? We, in popular literature, we always see spring, and that's how I look at it, as something happy, joyful, happiness, which everybody wrote, and even the sense of wonder, and that part is also there. But and I remember when I was teaching a class of 6 key once, and we said anger, and somebody said, why is anger related to childhood? And I said, oh my gosh, I can't think of it myself. And then I realized, yes, children, we like to say, oh, they're being cranky, they're being naughty, they're not listening to us. But that is exactly what happens for so much of childhood. Childhood is not easy for the soul. When the soul comes into being as a child, the soul, and especially those the children who are coming in the world today, and I'm thinking of the children being born this year as the dragon child. I think it's so important for parents to understand how to parent, so that we don't suppress children. If we are suppressed as childhood, think of all that we have to handle when we grow older. Anyone has any thoughts before we go into the last part of just releasing and dancing? Tarita, you want to share something? You're a relationship consultant.
No, I think she's done a wonderful job. That's great. Thank you.
Anyone? Anything else to share? Otherwise, we can just, I know that for people in Europe, it's getting late. But how do you celebrate spring?
I clean. Sorry.
Sorry. Oh, there it is.
I clean the house.
Can
Yes, spring cleaning.
Yes.
We can clear our energy. We can clean our energy. How can we clean it? But we've already got the golden light, and just movements. So can each of us do a movement that shows that you're clearing spring? You can stand up, you can dance, you can do anything, and then we'll all learn from one another. What's a movement of spring? Okay, that's a good one. Clearing. Tavita, you need to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
my back and stuff.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you all. Let's do the gratitude lotus in sync with one another. Giving thanks to everything that we have learned today, of the mind, of life, of the body, and of the soul. We receive and absorb these gifts and radiate them out to bless all. Thank you.